2 on our news
Oh yeah.
list. Feather in the cap, Sony first party developer Naughty Dog have officially gone on record and announced the development of a new project. Oh, snap! Unfortunately, and there goes my snap, there goes the snap. Unfortunately, this was not a game teaser trailer or any concept art. It was the announcement was made via a large number of job opportunities listed on the developer's various social and career channels. The 34 job listings are mainly leaning towards graphics and cinematic job posts, with other areas also required. New Naughty Dog co-president Neil Druckmann, who was also the director of The Last of Us Part 2, he tweeted a picture detailing the vacancies, but also added at the top of it, "Come work with us, we're making something very cool." Naughty Dog have come off another stellar launch with The Last of Us Part 2, which picked up over 70 Game of the Year awards and others. Alex,
Wow.
new IP or The Last of Us 3?
Uncharted, we've done Last of Us. Let's just leave that to the side now. Let's just see what craziness we can get up to with a brand new system and have all this raw power at our fingertips. I mean, they've managed to do some phenomenal feats with the tech that they've had before. I mean, even from like PlayStation 3, even 4, you know what I mean? They've got some wizards to be on their camp. So it's just going to be crazy to think what they could potentially come up with for the next generation. I mean, in terms of cinematics, yeah, Naughty Dog's got it down to a T. Everybody's looking at Naughty Dog to see how they do things. You know what I mean? How they make their set pieces, especially the action part. Yeah, so I'm curious. I'd like to see a new IP. I think it's time. What about you?
Well, the one thing that people seem to forget is factions. So factions was the multiplayer aspect of the original Last of Us, which was
Oh yeah,
huge. It was amazing. It took multiplayer to a whole new level in terms of immersion and storytelling as well. And this was online multiplayer, but it was so good.
yeah,
And it obviously became so big for The Last of Us Part 2 that they had to take it out and they said it's going to be a game in itself. Now, I still think they're going to release a PS5 remastered version of The Last of Us 2 and chuck factions in there to, I think, and then obviously if you already have The Last of Us Part 2 on PS4, you get factions for free. But
that's it.
so they're still developing for that. But it's interesting. You got to go back and look at Naughty Dog. They've released. I mean, obviously on PlayStation 1 it was Crash Bandicoot. They did really really
Yeah,
well with that. And then PlayStation 2 was Jak and Daxter. And then we moved
yeah,
to PlayStation 3, and then it was obviously Uncharted 1, Uncharted 2, Uncharted 3, and then
yeah,
you had The Last of Us, which came out at the end of the generation. So then obviously moving to PlayStation 4, all the assumption was is that, what are they going to do now? And then they did the Nathan Drake collection, which obviously gives them an opportunity to open themselves up and get used to the hardware. And then
yeah.
came Uncharted 4, and then came The Last of Us Part 2. So, yeah, I mean, the rumors are that obviously Sony, these are just rumors, like doubled in size Sony San Diego, and that they're working on a spin-off Uncharted game. That's
Ooh,
just a rumor at the moment. So I don't think Naughty Dog will go back to Uncharted. The way they finished
right.
Uncharted 4, it was the perfect way to end it. You don't go
Yeah.
back to that. The Last of Us Part 2, there's going to be a 3. It's too big. You do not, you find when the original Last of Us came out, all critics and everyone said, "Don't do it. You'll ruin it. You'll ruin it. You'll destroy it." And then Naughty Dog came out and did a Terminator 2, and critics loved it even more. And now they're saying the same thing: "Don't do a 3.
Yeah.
Don't do a 3." But we say it, but we want it. We
We
always
want it.
want it.
Yeah.
We want it. We
We just
didn't
don't
want
want
a
to be
Matrix.
ruined. Yeah, yeah.
We didn't want a Matrix 4, but we want it. But that's just to fix what happened in 2 and 3. But it's what happens, right?
Oh, what happened with that?
And then we didn't want a John Wick 2, but look what we got. We got John Wick 3, which was even better,
Yeah,
So you
yeah,
get these things. Personally, I would love for them to make a new IP
yeah,
and then do The Last of Us 3 at the end of a generation. So
yeah,
the end of
yeah.
PS5, do the new IP. And if someone says, well, what would you want Naughty Dog to make? I'll be honest with you, I want them to make a space game.
Ladies and gentlemen, just in case you don't know, Mr. Sonny Sangera loves deep space.
I do indeed. But just the idea that if you can imagine, like, a Naughty Dog making a game on a space colony and the narrative driven to that, it
Yeah,
would be stunning. It would be
yeah,
stunning. And I think
yeah,
they want to be challenged themselves. There's great talent at Naughty Dog, and hopefully we'll see. Obviously, I don't think in 2021 there'll be any announcement from Naughty Dog. I think
Right.
this year belongs to Guerrilla Games,
Yeah.
Insomniac, and Santa Monica. Obviously, with God of War. I don't think
Yeah.
we hear anything tangent about a new game or Last of Us Part 3 from Naughty Dog until 2022, E3 maybe at
Yeah.
the earliest. But so I think you're looking at over a year, almost 2 years, year and a half
Yeah.
maybe before we hear anything.
Go crazy in terms of ideas and visuals, work out all the kinks, get to know the system, and then take what you've developed from that and then put it into the next iteration of Last of Us 3. That's what my money's on. And I hope they do that because I think
Mm.
that would just make Last of Us brilliant. You know what I mean? And they can rack it up in a nice trilogy. And then that it. They can just move on to something completely different. Maybe this new IP will launch up into numerous sequels after that. So
Mm.
only time will tell.
Also, just to shout out, they did do. They said they wouldn't, but they did do story DLC for The Last of Us, which was The Last of Us Left Behind. They could do that for The Last of Us Part 2. We don't know. There's so much going around. We just have to wait and see. But we'll move on out, and this one I'm so excited for. It came completely out of the blue.